Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome back. You're listening to the Entrepreneurial Web. I'm your host, Jeremiah Fox. We're going live from Brooklyn, New York, still under pandemic quarantine regulations. We cannot go live into the studio yet, but New York City is entering phase one of opening back up, loosening business up. So maybe soon we get to go back in the studio. For now, I am sitting in my restaurant, Della, and it is hot as hell today. So I got the back door open, trying to get some fresh air. Pardon the Prospect Expressway behind me. You might hear a truck or maybe a motorcycle racing by. They've been zooming up the, no pun intended, zooming up the Prospect Expressway because there's less accountability these days in terms of that. Before we get started and before I introduce my guest, the message of the week. This particular message I chose because of a conversation that sparked the connection between my guests today. And it is a question we often asked in Sun Dojo, the martial arts school where I've taught for the last 3 years. Especially we would ask this in the kids' classes. But what I found very remarkable is that often those lessons were really applicable to adults. And it's something that we encouraged ourselves to ask adults just as much. But it was great asking the kids this. And the question is, what do you have to develop in order to make a non-quitting attitude part of your life? And the answer is, you have to have wanted to quit at some point. If you never wanted to quit, why would you need to develop a non-quitting attitude? If you'd not been under that kind of pressure where you felt like, man, I just want to give up, what would be the inspiration for you to develop a non-quitting attitude? With that, I'd like to introduce my guest today. He is a personal trainer. He's an Air Force vet. He is a fireman. He was also a fitness model. This guy has kind of done it all. Michael Alfieri. Michael, are you with us?
I am. Can you hear me?
I can hear you very well. Can you hear the highway behind me, or is the sound pretty?
Nah, you're good. You sound beautiful. You look great.
Just trying to look as good as you, man. I
don't know about
through
that.
your Instagram and your pictures. I was like, damn.
I'm hanging in there. I'm hanging in there. 56. I'm hanging in there.
Yeah, man. You look awesome for 56.
Thank you.
I hope. I'm working my ass off to have that. I hope it comes through.
It definitely will. You know, and I want to say I appreciate you having me on the show as well.
It's my pleasure. So just to catch everybody up to speed, Michael and I got connected through a very good friend and mentor of mine that I had actually on the show just last month. Another New Jersey boy, Tony DiSilvestro, otherwise known as the Y in entrepreneurship. So Tony and I go way, way back to the early 90s. And I worked for him up until around 2001. And then I moved to New York and we stayed in close contact and we were very good friends throughout. And he continued to mentor me. And now we've struck up our relationship has gotten even more intense lately because he started his own show.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
And he's fantastic. And
yeah, I love him.
Program. And you had been in contact with him too. And he was telling me about you. He's just like,
yeah.
I've been talking to this guy. He's, he's a personal trainer and he's got this business in New Jersey and he's had to close down and he doesn't know what to do. And it's been the same for, the school that I've been teaching and training out of for the last almost 5 years. And so that crunch resonated with me very well.
You know, Jeremiah, I have just so I let you know, I have my my camera. Can you see me okay?
Everybody see you look great. I tried to turn mine.
Remember, because I've done a couple of these and we're always so concerned on whether the camera should be horizontal or vertical. So I did it horizontal. I hope everybody could see me okay.
No, your orientation is fine. I tried it and Sam, the executive producer, he was like, you're sideways. Maybe I have some setting on my phone. I mean, it's appropriate.
As long as I'm not sideways.
That's kind of how I feel right now.
I'm enough sideways in my life.
Right, exactly. Let's just go upside down.
Yeah, there you go.
So introduce yourself to the listenership and viewership. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Michael Alfieri, as you well know, and Jeremiah was nice enough to have me on the show. And I've been involved in the fitness world for 35 plus years. And I started this journey back, probably even in high school. I was fortunate enough to get an opportunity to try out and practice for the New York Cosmos. This was back in the early 80s, but the league was not doing well. They were almost filing Chapter 11, and I came at a bad time. So I was a goalkeeper, and I had the opportunity to practice with them for a whole summer. I practiced at Giant Stadium. It was fantastic. From there, I was kind of lost after that because I didn't know if I was really college material. So I had to figure out what to do at that point. So my dad was military, my family was military, and I decided that I thought I would venture into a world of the military. So I joined the Air Force. I became a fireman. Then I became a fire rescueman. And from that point on, I started getting involved with fitness. And there's a reason why I got involved with fitness, because I was so frail. I was so thin. And to do the job was difficult for me. So I had to find a way to strengthen myself. And I found this world of fitness outside of the base, outside of the military. I was fortunate enough to meet people outside of the base that helped me, my mentor, Ray. And he guided me into this fitness world. And it just opened up into a whole huge avenue that I made a living with.
Nice. Did you ever spend any time in Norfolk, Virginia with
No.
your father or yourself in the military?
No, actually, I'm from Jersey, from the Jersey Shore. Actually, originally from West Orange. And then I moved down to Jersey Shore when I got married and everything. But I'm originally from West Orange, and I love my town, West Orange. I'll always be a West Orange guy. And then I went in service. I went to Texas, and then I went to California. I was served out there, and I also went to fire school in Illinois. So back home to Jersey. So Virginia, no, never down that way.
Yeah, that's where Tony and I got to know each other.
Yeah, he's in Virginia Beach.
Right. Just curious, because so many military people come through there.
Air Force. Yeah, Air Force. It's Lackland, Texas, and then you get stationed. I was in California, went to fire school in Illinois, Chanute Air Base, and then back to California, and then back home to Jersey, where I stayed.
So it's funny you said you were skinny, you were frail. I saw a picture of you. You posted of you, I think, in the Air Force, and you had them little. You look like me, little skinny cheeks.
Yeah. I was really thin. It was really a scare. It's an interesting, quick story. You know, when I got to be a fireman, which, you know, they put me as a fireman. I was like, oh, I don't know anything about firemen. So, you know, they have to, you know, it's a demanding job. Yeah. Okay. It's such a disciplined job, and you need some strength. And I was that soccer player. I was a goalie. I was fast, agile. I had that, you know, that runner type body, you know, that runner mentality. I wasn't into weightlifting. I didn't really know anything about weightlifting so much. I did a little bit of lifting, but nothing major. And then all of a sudden, I'm faced with strength. You need strength to carry these dummies down from the ladders and rescuing. And I was like, I don't think I'll be able to do this. So I had to figure out, without embarrassing myself, I actually went off base. I walked into a nutritional place called Clark's Nutrition. I'll never forget it. And here's this guy from the East Coast standing there. His name is Ray DiGiacomo. And he says, you know what? I can help you. I said, I don't know about supplementation, about working out. He hands me all these free passes. I'm down the street. I'm a trainer. Come help. From that point on, it just, you know, I found a love for that. And then I was able to do the job a lot better as well.
I'm very close friends with a number of New York Fire Department guys, you know, FDNY, very close friends.
And they're beautiful people.
They are, but I know the training is like almost paramilitary. I mean, and the requirements for the job, like my closest friend that's a firefighter, Joe Marcello, he was just hanging out with me last night. Yeah. He's at a house right here in Brooklyn on 12th Street. You know, he was Marine Corps, and he was working for me when he started training for the fire department. And he would come, we would work out together, and he would come and tell me what they had to do. I was like, man, it sounds like I want to do that. I want to go try it, just because I always like to challenge myself.
It was tough. You probably could handle it. You have that mentality.
But I'm a little guy too, man. I was a distance runner.
Let me tell you, Jeremiah, luckily my personality, and I always have that sense of, you know, I always find humor in just life itself. And I found humor in everything. And I was just like, I remember calling home to my dad. I'll never forget the phone call. And I said, when I was in basic training, this is how the first phone call went. I said, Dad, it's me. How you making out? Well, I got to tell you, a lot of the things that we're doing here, they weren't in the manual that I read before I left.
And what
So that
what
kind
branch,
of sums it up.
yeah. What branch of the military was your dad in? Was he Air Force
It
also?
was Air Force. My dad
Yeah.
was an air traffic controller, so he was the guy that worked in the towers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool.
And yeah, I tried to get that job, but that some jobs are overmanned.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they threw me into fire department, and I was like, sounds hot.
That's for damn sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was a competitive distance runner. I've got that runner's body too. I can't break 150 pounds. You know, if I really, but I'm fine. I mean, that's why I gravitated towards jujitsu as well.
Jeremiah, it's a genetic thing. So
Yeah.
you took what God gave you, and you put it into an area of jujitsu and specializing in that. We all have different body types. I got to be honest with you. It's almost a miracle that I say this with true sincerity. It's almost a miracle, and I think it is a miracle from above, that I've actually succeeded in the fitness modeling world. Because not because people wouldn't say, oh, he's good looking or not. It wasn't that. You know, you need a package, the whole full package, the body, the everything. You know, the camera has to be friendly to you. It was a miracle because I am not genetically gifted at all. I had to work so hard, and I had to be shot at many different angles to capture really the best look for me. Otherwise, somebody could possibly say, I don't think you're not going to fit the need that we were looking for. So they really had to, cameras had to work with me in a tremendous way to get an angle that would be pleasing. But once the capture was there, once the shot was taken, it was magical for me at that point.
That's awesome. And when did you get into the fitness modeling world? About how old were you, and like in the chronology of like Air Force, fireman?
Yeah. You know what? I would say that it kind of really, I mean, the presentation of somebody saying, hey, you could be a fitness model started when I first went into the service, but I didn't have the physique for it yet. So it kind of came later, probably when I was in like my late 20s, early 30s. So my first actual big spread, I was in a couple magazines, small little things. But an actual like feature where they did like 7 pages on me. They feature, the name was like, it was probably around 2000.
Okay.
So, so I was in, that late 20s, early 30s. I just got married. So, but I was experimenting, when I I come from a time when, we had to mail. Listeners, if you're young, I'm going to explain something to you. There's this thing called a stamp. And there's a thing called a photograph. You have to put it in an envelope. You seal it. You believe it or not, this is like amazing, people. If you don't know, you actually mail a picture to somebody and have to wait for a response. Not through text messaging or email. You have to wait through another email.
I was going to say, it's kind of like email, right? It's like email, but it just,
It took forever, Jeremiah. I sent out 500 pictures of me in one pose that my wife took. I thought it was good. I heard back from nobody.
Yeah.
Until one day, I'm sitting just like this, and my phone rings, and that was the ring that changed my life. It was a publisher, a guy who owned many fitness magazines, and he was at the Empire State Building, and he said, "I'm looking at your pictures," and he says, "Can you come talk to me? Can you come see me?" I went to see him, and that was just surreal for me because it opened up a whole world for me.
That's amazing. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, I want to pick back up with this. And I just want to ask you one quick question. Are you familiar with Gary Vaynerchuk? Does that name ring a bell?
It rings a bell, but I don't know.
Another Jersey guy. We'll talk about that when we get back. So we're going to,
if you refresh my memory when you come back.
Yeah, I will. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back in just a minute, everybody. You're listening to Entrepreneurial Web.